Hey y'all, it's Sally, and in honor of Women's History Month, I thought today that I would recommend some of my favorite books that feature some of my all-time favorite female characters. I have always been drawn towards strong female characters and seeing females represented as complex and intelligent and having agency instead of only being there as plot devices for male characters. And I think that a lot of who I am is because of the characters that I've been reading since I was a young child. So today I'll be recommending 6 books with some of my all-time favorite characters, and I think they're worth the read for those characters alone, even though they're also all incredible books as a whole. So the first book I'm going to talk about is I'll Give You the Sun by Jandy Nelson. This is actually my sister's copy because I am always loaning mine out because I want other people to read it so badly. This is one of my favorite books of all time. The specific character that I wanted to mention is Jude Sweetwine. Jude is one of the 2 main characters along with her brother Noah, and she is grappling with some decisions that she has made in her past that have really affected her and her brother, and she has been through some pretty traumatic experiences. So this book dives into what it means to be a growing girl and learning to figure out who you are in the world and how to do that in a way that doesn't harm others. And it's so beautiful. She's such a complex character. There are so many layers to her, and one of the things I love about this book is you really see why she is the way that she is. The way it's written, you get to understand her history and her family and understand all the things that led her to be the person that she is today. I highly recommend I'll Give You the Sun by Jandy Nelson for so many reasons, but one of which is that Jude is such an incredible woman and I admire her so much as a character. I wish I could be best friends with her. So the next book I'm going to talk about is The Raven Cycle by Maggie Stiefvater. This is one of my all-time favorite fantasy series. I could read it a million times over and never get tired of it. And our main character in this story is Blue Sargent. Blue is so strong-willed, she's so intelligent, and she knows how to put the boys in her life in their place. I love her so much. She cracks me up, but I also feel so much for her and the things that she goes through, and I think she's such a cool main character for people to read, especially because she's surrounded by men throughout the entire series, but she doesn't let them impact her decision making and she doesn't let them steamroll over her. She finds a way to make her place in the story without just bending to the will of the men that are around her, and I think that's pretty incredible. Also, I would like to give an honorable mention to all the other women in this series. Blue's family are all women and they're psychics and they read tarot and they have magical sorts of abilities. So there's Mora, Blue's mother, and then Orla and Persephone. They all really have a hand in shaping who Blue is, and you see their bits of personality embedded in Blue. And I think all the women are wonderful characters to spend time with as you read through this book. The next book I want to talk about is Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. I have been reading John Green for so much of my life. I don't know if I would be an avid YA reader if I hadn't read The Fault in Our Stars in 7th grade, and this latest book hit me in places I didn't know books could hit, and I related to Aza in a way that I don't know if I've ever related to any other book character before, so I really appreciate that this exists in the world because it makes me feel much less alone. But one of the main things about this book is that Aza is grappling with OCD, and as somebody who has grappled with anxiety for years and OCD for years, I know how intimidating and terrifying it can be to be stuck in a thought spiral and to feel like you're spinning out of control with no way to stop it. And I had never spoken to anyone or read anything in which the way I felt was so perfectly represented. So this book is really special to me, and I think that Aza is an incredible character, and the way she pushes through the things that she's struggling with mentally is so inspiring. I think I'm gonna reread it soon because I need to go on the journey again. I miss it. I miss the characters. So that's definitely one of them. Next up we have The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. This book is incredible. I will never stop talking about it. I love it so much. The movie is also really good, but if you want a strong female character, look no further than Star. She is so brave and bold and so complex. To be able to see the dichotomy that Star lives with of being Williamson Star at her white private high school and then to be Garden Heights Star at home is unlike anything I've ever read before. It really made me understand some of the people in my life more than I think I ever could have without reading this book. She faces a very, very difficult decision in this book, and she makes the choice to use her voice to speak up for those who may not have the same platform that she has, and I think that's a really inspiring message, and also the bravest and hardest choice she could have possibly made. I think this book should go down in history as a classic, and I think everyone should look to Star for strength and courage. I love Angie Thomas's writing. I could just as easily include Bree from On the Come Up. She's also incredible. Definitely check out The Hate U Give by Angie Thomas. The next book I have to talk about is not fiction, it's a memoir, and that is Yes Please by Amy Poehler. I often tell people that this is the closest thing I have to a Bible. I love this book so much. Its spine is like breaking because of how many times I have read it. I love Amy Poehler. I love Tina Fey. I love women in comedy. I think they're inspiring. I turn to it when I'm struggling or when I need just a little bit of inspiration or a pick-me-up. This is a book filled with laughter, gratitude, and boldness. I will be reading this book for the rest of my life, and I think it's a book that not enough people have read, so I encourage you to pick it up and give it a try. The last book I have to talk about today is actually a series, and it will come as no surprise to anyone, but that is Harry Potter. I don't know of any other series that has so many strong, incredible women in it. Obviously, there's Hermione Granger, and that's the easy choice, and such a good one. I don't know if there's any other book character I wish I could emulate as much as I wish I could emulate Hermione, but it doesn't stop there. Ginny Weasley is such a badass. She's bold, she's brave, and she never thinks twice about doing anything that would help another person. I think if everyone were a little bit more like Ginny Weasley, the world would be a much better place. And not only Ginny, Molly Weasley loves fiercely and with her entire heart. She would do anything to protect not only her own children, but the other kids of Hogwarts. She loves Harry and Hermione like they're her own. In addition to Hermione, Ginny, and Molly, we also have Luna Lovegood, who is a different kind of strong than anybody else I've ever read. She's strong in the quiet sense of the word, and she's kind and helpful, and she shows up right when other people need her, and there's something so beautiful about that. We also have Minerva McGonagall, who kicks ass and takes names, and she will have no shit from anyone. She's incredible. She's like a parent for the kids of Gryffindor, and she'll do anything to make sure they get that house cup. Throughout the story, we also meet Nymphadora Tonks, who makes a lot of personal sacrifices in order to help save others. And although we never meet her in the flesh, we also hear so much about Lily Potter throughout this series, that she was an incredible mother, wife, friend, and witch. Harry Potter means so much to me for so many reasons, but one of the biggest is that from the time I was 5 years old, I was exposed to strong, complex, and interesting women, and learned that I could be that way too. I'm just so eternally grateful that I have this series and these characters in my life to help show me the way when sometimes times feel dark. There are so many books I could have chosen for this video, but those are just a few of my favorite female characters who have all shaped me and changed me in ways I didn't expect. I absolutely love reading about strong female characters, and I hope this video introduces you to some new ones who you might not have known before. So let me know who your favorite female characters of all time are down in the comments, because I would love to get some suggestions for more. Throughout March, I'm hoping that I get to read quite a few more books that will eventually end up on this same sort of list. Happy Women's History Month!